Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome. Today we're going to dive into a really fascinating story from the Quran. It's an ancient tale, but believe me, it has some incredibly powerful, and surprisingly modern, lessons about business ethics. We're talking about a prophet who was sent to a community where, get this, their entire economy was basically built on cheating. So, what can a story from so long ago teach us today? Let's find out.
So, right off the bat, this is the big question, isn't it? I mean, it's so easy to think of business as just, well, numbers on a spreadsheet. Profit margins, market share, the bottom line. But this story really makes you stop and think. Is that all there is to it? Is there maybe a moral dimension? A higher standard we should be holding ourselves to? Let's keep that question right at the front of our minds as we explore this.
All right, so let's set the scene. Our story kicks off in a place that's got a huge problem. And it's not just a small issue, it's a problem that's woven into the very fabric of their daily life, especially their economy.
So, who are we talking about here? The Quran calls them the Ashab Al-Ayka, which translates to the companions of the wood. Now, you might think that's a nice, peaceful-sounding name, right? It probably came from the fact that they lived in a wooded green area. But here's the thing. They didn't become famous for their beautiful forests. Oh no. They became infamous for their completely crooked business practices. And this is absolutely key to understanding the story. We're not just talking about a few bad apples, a couple of shady merchants here and there. The source is crystal clear on this. Their entire society was built on cheating. It was normal. It was systematic. It wasn't the exception to the rule. It was the rule.
The very first verse that introduces them in this chapter is so telling. It says they denied the messengers. And notice that, messengers, plural. That little detail suggests this wasn't just a one-time thing. It points to a deep, fundamental rejection of any kind of guidance that might threaten their very profitable but very corrupt system.
Okay, so into this marketplace of corruption steps our hero, the Prophet Shu'ayb. And what's fascinating is his approach. He doesn't just storm in and start pointing fingers. No, his first move is to build a foundation of trust. It's honestly a masterclass in communication, and it all unfolds in 3 very deliberate steps. Just look at this strategy. It's brilliant. Let's break it down. First, he appeals to their conscience, to their inner moral compass. Then, he establishes his own credibility. It's only after he's laid all that groundwork that he actually makes his request. See what he did there? He didn't lead with a list of rules. He started with the why, the morality, and the who, the trustworthy messenger. So that first appeal, that will you not fear Allah? It's a call to something called taqwa. Now, this word is often translated simply as fear, but honestly, that doesn't quite capture it. It's much deeper. Think of it as a constant state of God consciousness, this internal awareness that you're accountable for everything you do. It's like having a moral compass that's always pointing true. And that is the bedrock Shu'ayb is trying to build on first. And then comes his proof. And it all hinges on one powerful word, Amin, the trustworthy. I mean, think about it. If someone comes to you with a message that's going to completely change your life, your first question is going to be, can I trust this person? You have to trust the messenger before you can even begin to accept the message. So when he declares himself Amin, he's basically saying, look, you guys know me. You know my track record. You know I'm a person of integrity. I am reliable. And this next part, this is just a brilliant move to prove his integrity. He takes money completely off the table. Imagine this, he's talking to a community that is obsessed with profit, and he tells them straight up, I don't want any payment for this. It's such a power move. It instantly proves his motives are pure, that his reward comes from somewhere else entirely. It completely disarms them. How can you accuse him of being just another player in the game when he refuses to play for money? Okay, so the stage is set. The foundation of morality and trust has been laid. Now, Prophet Shu'ayb gets to the climax of his message. You could call it a divine audit of their entire economic system. And it's not vague. It comes with clear, practical, actionable commands for how they need to change. And this verse, wow, it just gets right to the heart of their entire corrupt system. It's so simple but so powerful. Think of it as 2 sides of the very same coin. On one side, you have the positive command, give full measure. Basically, give people exactly what they paid for, no tricks. And on the other side, the prohibition, and do not be of those who cause loss. Don't be a person who shortchanges others. It's all about one thing, basic fairness in every single transaction. So the message then gets down to the nitty-gritty, laying out these 3 super clear, super practical rules. Number 1, give the full and proper measure when you're selling. Number 2, weigh everything with a just and accurate balance. And number 3, the big one that covers everything else, do not deprive people of what is rightfully theirs. I mean, there's no ambiguity there, right? No wiggle room. These are basically the pillars of fair trade.
And there's a linguistic detail here that I just think is so beautiful. The term used for a just balance is al-qistas al-mustaqim. Now, al-qistas refers to the scale, the instrument, but al-mustaqim means straight, upright. So it's not just saying your scale has to be physically accurate. The language implies that the person using the scale must also be morally upright. It's this incredible idea that the tool has to be precise, but the heart of the merchant has to be just too.
Okay, and this is where the message takes a really crucial turn. It zooms out. We go from looking at these individual acts of cheating, one crooked transaction at a time, to seeing the absolutely devastating impact this has on the whole of society. This is where we really start to see the big picture.
See, it all starts with what we might call the small stuff, a little bit shaved off the measurement, a scale that's just slightly tilted in your favor. These are those individual, seemingly isolated acts of fraud.
But the thing is, they don't stay small. They are like seeds, and when you plant those seeds across an entire community, they don't just grow into a few weeds. They grow into a tangled, dark forest of systemic, society-wide corruption. Just one little act erodes a bit of trust, which makes the next person feel justified in cheating, and on it goes, until the whole system is just rotten to the core.
And there's a specific, powerful word for this kind of widespread decay: facade. This is such an important concept. It doesn't just mean a single bad act. It means corruption on a scale that actively harms and unravels the social and moral fabric of a society. It's like a terminal illness that takes hold when all those small economic injustices are left to fester and grow.
And this final command in the verse is the mic drop. It's the stunning conclusion to the whole argument. The Quran draws a direct, unbreakable line between cheating someone in a business deal and spreading corruption on the earth. Think about that. What you do in the marketplace isn't just a private matter between you and a customer. It has systemic, world-altering consequences. Dishonest business is literally an act that helps corrupt the entire world.
So when you boil it all down, what's the ultimate lesson here? It's this: real faith isn't something that's confined to a prayer mat or a house of worship. True faith, that true taqwa we talked about, has to show up in how you act in the marketplace, in your office, in every single financial dealing you have. In this worldview, practicing justice in your business, well, that's an act of worship itself.
And that really leaves us with a final and pretty haunting question, doesn't it? The story of the people of the wood is meant as a timeless warning. And the warning is this: if the entire economic foundation of a society is built on injustice and cheating, can that society really truly survive in the long run? It's a heavy question, and it's one worth reflecting on, not just for their time, but especially for ours. Thank you so much for joining me today.